afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. Ali Quorum here along with Ed Carson to break down the action in today's session, where we saw a nice upside reversal for the NASDAQ and the S&P at a key level here, Ed, and we also have some stocks we need to check in on.
Yeah, it's amazing when the market goes up, all of a sudden the buying opportunities start showing up. Arcelor Mittal, Devon Energy, and Copart all flash buy signals today.
Okay, we will check in on those names and also start off with a look at the major indexes. Here is the NASDAQ, which finished the day up about 0.8%. Same for the S&P 500, the Dow up 0.7%, and small caps, the Russell 2000 up over 1% today. So after quite a few days in a row here of selling pressure, Ed, we see an upside reversal that not only coincides with this 15,000 level, but also getting back above that 21-day.
Getting above the 21-day line, 15,000 level, sort of found support near the old highs, where it had been, sort of been trending around that 14.9 area. Yeah, we found support where we needed to. I mean, it's where you would want to. The NASDAQ here between the 21 and the 50, the S&P off the 50-day line. It's what you'd like to see. It was nice action closing basically at the highs of the day.
Right.
So just a reversal from what we've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of buying, not a lot, but there was definitely a number of buying opportunities. Yeah, the S&P getting not only about the 50-day line, but the 21-day. So, hopefully this is the beginning of a nice little bounce, little run. It's maybe an opportunity to maybe you could have bought some today, sort of draw yourself in to the market rather than rushing in, because it wouldn't take much for this market to reverse lower. Just because we bounced a number of times on the S&P doesn't mean we will, this time successfully.
Yeah, this is just continued to be, I could keep going and going, but the support level for the S&P 500. So with this reversal, as you mentioned, the expectation is that we will move higher. That doesn't mean that it is a 100% guarantee, but with this kind of action, we've talked about it being an opportunity to add some market exposure, whether it's through ETFs or look at those buying opportunities out there, Ed, a couple of which we will take a look at. And on IBD Live, we were talking with Chris about, looking at levels intraday to whether you're Chris and that's peeling off a hedge or getting exposure. I mean, it seems like if you're using a 5-minute chart here on the Qs, it was really this 5-minute bar here around 12:25 Eastern that launched that move higher for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and that was really, at first it looked like it might be a continuation of what we were going to have, because we opened a little bit higher and then went down, but then when moving up, that was just something we really hadn't been doing, from late morning on. So it's a place where you got to start paying attention. There were a lot of things even before the Qs. The Qs were actually sort of the laggards.
It was
for the while.
definitely.
They were sort of moving up earlier, and I mean, then they all sort of took off, and the NASDAQ then did just fine for the day, So there was definitely some action, broad-based action. Not every stock went up, but a lot of them did. So it was a nice market today.
Okay, well, we'll have to see if this reversal can continue the momentum in an upward fashion. But underneath the surface, let's take a look at steel producer Arcelor Mittal, ticker MT. A strong day of outperformance here for MT, up 6.5% in volume behind the move. And this action with it retaking its moving averages, short term and the 50-day moving average, presenting a buying opportunity here.
Yeah, you add that. You also can break a trend line. I think that was important because there's some other steel makers that came to their 50-day line, but this one just seemed to be, to me, when I was looking, at a number of them, it clearly is sort of breaking a trend line, clearly going over the 50-day line. So it seemed to be the most obvious buy point, though a number of them did really well. It even recaptured its old buy point, which I don't know if it's really that relevant anymore, but hey, it's always nice to have one more reason, in there. But Steel Dynamics came out today, said we're going to beat views for Q3, and then we're going to do well in Q4 as well. So this one really, it sort of came up to the buy zone, but there's a lot of stocks that did well. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see. And, if steel goes on a lot of run, look, we saw how it went up and then came down again. You want to try to get on stocks like this early because, steel and energy stocks, they're so prone to price movements that can see those runs, but then those runs can reverse very quickly.
They can. So Arcelor Mittal added to Swing Trader today with this nice move here. And now let's pivot our attention to a name in oil and gas, and that is Devon Energy. We've been tracking the action in this one, saying how it caught our attention when it got back above the 50-day line in late August. It was one of the first in the group to do that, and pulling back here in mostly below average volume. Maybe one day here where it was not below average volume, but a trend line breakout, either from this handle area or maybe even going all the way back to the highs that we can draw that, and getting over 30, which is what you like. As many lines and areas of resistance that the stock can clear, the better.
That's right. As many as you can. Yeah, because you could have tried to hold on. It would have been hard to hold on when it came above the 50-day line. And sometimes that happens. But today, really nice action. Yeah, a lot of oil stocks were moving today. Oil was up nicely. Inventories are down in the US. We're seeing there's still a lot of Gulf of Mexico production is shut in. So that's limiting it. I know just natural gas production. Natural gas prices up a lot in the US. They are skyrocketing in Europe. I mean, they are just enormous gains. So that's going to be very tight for a while. So oil and gas plays really are doing well right now. Now, will it continue? I don't know, but you probably want to get into it. I like this because it's an early entry as opposed to waiting till a full-on breakout. Now we say that a lot, but boy, it really seems with oil stocks, that just seems so important.
Yes, we've been training our eyes to look at those early entries. Pattern recognition is really great, but we also want to look at those nuances within the base to try to identify those earlier buy points, as you said, because breakouts haven't always just been, off to the races. More often than not, we've seen them as an area that shakes out a lot of investors. So the earlier you can get in at a proper area within the base, that can help hopefully give you a little bit more cushion than if you were to make that first buy with the breakout to new highs. And CPRT, another stock that we have been highlighting. If you rewind a number of weeks ago, we featured this group in one of our feature stories in IBD Weekly. We had Copart then pulling back to its 50-day line and then retesting that. Look at that shakeout after earnings, Ed. Strong move today for the stock.
Yeah, that was a great shakeout as it turned out. It would have shaken me out probably if I'd owned it, but nice move, basically closed the 50-day line and then came back up. Today, if you want to talk about buy things, there's the trend line, there's the short-term high, there's the bounce off the 50-day line. So it's got all the things that make me like it. I didn't buy this, but it looks really good. It was the highest volume in 6 months or almost 6 months. And intraday, it actually did break above the buy point. It closed just a fraction below, but really strong action. The earnings report was pretty good. The revenue growth is accelerating. So I don't know what spooked it originally, but it came back. This was our stock of the day, and it's a long-term leader. So buying off the 50-day line or bounce around there is often a good way to go. It did have a bit of a rough patch, but in late last year, but great earning stability, and it really does have a really good track record. If we look at it on a monthly, just briefly, just to show that has had a really good run. I mean, this is not a junk stock. It may deal with junk cars, but that's not a junk stock.
It is not. And as a reminder, if you're new to looking at these charts, we talk about the relative strength line all the time, but this is measuring price performance versus the S&P 500. So this is not only a great indicator that if you're looking at it on the monthly chart, weekly or daily, but as a stock is building a base or breaking out, seeing that RS line at or near a new high is yet another signal for buyers that they are going with the strength. All right. Thank you, Ed. And thank you all for watching. As a reminder, it is MarketSmith Free Access Week. So make sure you take advantage of our tools, our most advanced charting and research and screening platform that we have for free this week. You can go check that out at investors.com/MS free access. And we will be talking more about actionable trade ideas and our take on market conditions now that we did have this reversal in the market today, and so much more on IBD Live, where we use markets with charts. So check that out at investors.com/IBD Live tomorrow morning, our daily morning live stream. We'll see you there, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow, everyone.